There's nothing that will kill your faith quicker than unforgiveness. That will kill your soul, that will kill your brain quicker than unforgiveness. And I didn't really understand this until I sat down with Michael Molthan and heard his take on forgiveness, a man who has experienced trauma on trauma on trauma on trauma and got to the place of meeting Jesus and started asking the questions, well, what role did I play in my trauma? And I'm like, was almost offended when I first heard it from him. But what I was hearing something offensive to our flesh. I was hearing Michael talking about authentic forgiveness that's found in complete self-denial. And it was hard for me to hear because I was thinking, well, what did I do to that person that wronged me in that way and that I'm still holding on to it? And what Michael began to teach me, and this is the kind of man Michael is having the humility to stop and to say, okay, well, that person did that thing to me that was horrific and wrong and it should have never happened. There's no excuse for it. But what I'm responsible for is to look like Jesus. And what that looks like to me is saying, how do I become a servant? How do I release the weight of the debt that they incurred? And how do I forgive them of it? And then how do I then look at myself and say, I've been holding on to that for so long, and I have not given them the gift of releasing them of the debt. And that's why I have so enjoyed my time with Michael, is Michael has given me a different window into forgiveness that has unlocked breakthrough in my life. There's so many people that are charging after the things that will lift themselves up and try to make them more famous and get them more followers and all this stuff. But you meet a guy like Michael and he's like, I want to serve the king in the kingdom. And that's just been the blessing for me of our friendship is having someone who's experienced the worst things that can happen to a person, has been in the worst environments a person can be in prison, and has lost everything, but then found it. And so now when he's presented with followers and he's presented with opportunities and presented with all these things, he doesn't really friggin' need them. He's like, I've already tasted and seen that the Lord is good. I've found the treasure hidden in the field, and so I'm willing to sell it all to go find the treasure. And so I couldn't speak highly enough of my brother in Christ and the impact he's made on me, and just super grateful for his friendship.
He was able to find his way to sobriety and to employment, neither of which was easy.
His podcast and Facebook shows called Into the Rock, Molthan shares about his dark past as an alcoholic and drug addict.
He went from building luxury homes to being homeless, and then he served a stint in prison. How did Michael Molthan wind up with a radio show that reaches an audience of more than 500,000? Charlie and Aaron brings us his remarkable story, from riches to rock bottom.
And the impact of Molthan's work is reaching around the globe. In the end, Molthan says his message is simple. If God changed him, he can change anybody.
This morning we got Michael Molthan, founder and CEO of Into the Rock.
Addiction recovery expert Michael Molthan is here today.
Is Michael Molthan? He is an addiction recovery expert.
Michael Molthan. He has Confessions of a Felon. That he's
one of the most viewed films in the last 2 years, connecting with people of all ages, all backgrounds, all interested in the message of freedom.
My name is Michael Molthan, also known as Into the Rock, and I am second.
Thank you so much, Michael. I am so excited to be here. It's so great to have you.
Michael Molthan, Into the Rock. Come on up here, man. So great to have you here.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Not a psychiatrist. This is Michael Molthan, addiction expert. You dang right I am.
Michael Molthan reaches an audience of people from all walks of life, tackling tough topics like drug and alcohol
addiction. Addiction is a street name for spiritual strongholds.
What's the definition of it? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results? Not the definition. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, knowing what the result's going to be.
My whole life I was leaning on resources, but not the source.
I'm going to go shop. I'm going to go gamble. I'm going to get on my cell phone. I'm going to play video games.
I was seeking visible things to try to fix my invisible problems.
I said, why do you drink and why do you do drugs? I said, well, my wife. Well, my job, stress at my job. I was abused. I got divorced. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. And they start getting frustrated. And they said, dude, I don't know. Right answer.
Michael, I know you get this because people would have said, man, that guy, he's hit rock bottom and we just need to write him off. Right. What do you say to that?
See, God allowed me to have all the control I wanted, for everything to get completely out of control, for me to hit my knees and turn to Him that I never had control in the first place. Serve. That's simple. Serve. Help someone.